I really do hope that as people are watching this video series and hearing other people's stories, they really will observe what's going on in their own lives, see how they are giving for good, look for further opportunities to give for good, and that they will experience all the joys that come from that.
Unfortunately, in our society today, everybody is so caught up in the whirlwind that is their own life that they forget that there are other people out there as well.
You know, giving your time is really valuable, I know, for many organizations, and finding volunteers can be a struggle at for some organizations. So, you know, that time commitment it's definitely worth something to the organizations you're helping.
Thanks for joining us here today. In this special episode of Southwest TV News, we profile a number of local residents and their random acts of kindness. Our Gift for Good series is brought to you by the Swift Current Salvation Army, PharmaSave, and JD AgTech. We'll kick things off with a Swift Current man who enjoys helping out total strangers.
Meet Ron Giesbrick, a longtime resident of Swift Current who over the years has been an active volunteer with the Salvation Army. Not someone who seeks out the limelight, Ron prefers being in the background, helping people where he can. For him, it's the little things that can make the most impact.
Well, I'll tell you, it can go from a very, very assertive smile and good to see you, John. Hope you're having a good day, and you keep moving along. Takes 10 seconds. That might make a difference to that fella, and you might see somebody that needs a whole lot more time than that to make a difference. And I think you have to sense the need. If you sense a deep need to make yourself available, you will have time.
Now retired, Ron enjoyed his years in business here in Swift Current. First as the owner of a Western shop, then later the owner of the Fast Gas service station. It was his time at Fast Gas where he found the most satisfaction in helping those in need. Ron recalls the story of a homeless man named Guy who showed up at his shop one day.
And Guy came by my place in the dead of winter, probably maybe in about 2007, 2008. And he was just another one of the fellows that would come through, and he was from nowhere and really going nowhere, but he camped along the highway by the creek. He wouldn't tell me where. And so he would come by every few days or sometimes every day, and I would bring him in the garage and give him coffee and give him something to eat. And I kind of got to know Guy a little, and we built a little relationship and became friends in a way, I guess you could say. Yeah, and just as maybe within a week he disappeared, and that's how those fellows are. They come and they go, and there's really no rhyme or reason for it. And here, I believe it was last summer, Guy lands up coming into the Salvation Army where I spend a fair amount of time. And he walks into the coffee room, and it took me a minute or two to figure out who he was. And finally I said, Guy, is that you? He said, yeah, Ron, that's me. So we had a real good little reunion there, him and I, after maybe not seeing each other for, maybe 5 years or so. And so it was pretty rewarding to be able to give him a little hand again and put him on his way. And he was pretty encouraged, and so that was just one of those stories that came into my life that really sort of made an impression on me, that people can disappear and all of a sudden they can be right there again, eh? But I sense a deeper purpose in helping folks who, are finding life a tough journey and maybe not a lot of attention given to them, and many times live a rough and tumble, tough life.
Ron says stopping the need to judge others and accepting them for who they are is perhaps the single biggest act of giving a person can do.
The whole aspect of judging others when you see them doing foolish things that are going to hurt themselves, maybe hurt others, you have to set that aside if you're going to help them. Because if you're going to judge them and then try to help them, you likely won't help them, because then you tend to criticize their problem. If you want to help somebody, you have to accept them just the way they are. Because if you do that, they will open up to you. At least there's an opportunity they will open to you. If you show any sense of judgment towards people that you know have made some foolish choices, if you show judgment, your opportunity to have positive input becomes very close to zero. And just look to what you can do to take the pressure off of them that it's going to be okay. Hope is sort of the bottom line to a lot of stuff. With hope, you keep moving ahead. No matter how slowly, you will still move ahead with hope. But without hope, it's very difficult to move ahead, and it doesn't take much to knock you down. So I think building hope in other people's lives is very, very, very critical. If you just leave someone hanging in a very discouraged state and you don't plant some type of seed that creates hope, you've really missed the mark, I think.
Through his motivation and discipline, Ron shows us that when we live in the present moment, the world becomes more vibrant and clear, full of possibilities and making a difference by giving for good.
Imagine a destination where you can enjoy world-class dining and unique accommodations. Take a leisurely stroll through streets filled with rich history while browsing for that perfect gift. Buy fresh produce from the farmer's market and enjoy a range of cultural events while stepping back in time to learn more about Canada's Old West. Your summer destination is awaiting you in Maple Creek. For event listings and all things Maple Creek, visit our website. Youth are often called the leaders of tomorrow. And in this segment, we profile a Swift Current boy who's helping out those in need through his art. As most 8-year-olds are out playing with friends and engrossed in their daily routine, Robbie McCartney is busy designing his one-of-a-kind t-shirts. A talented young artist who's using his creative skills to bring more joy to the world. A knack for drawing, which started at a young age, long before he could verbally communicate.
Really, he was he was late to talk. So he was drawing like from the age of 1 or even earlier. Like first thing, right off the hop, a pen, markers. And so he'd draw. He'd tell stories through his drawings. And he really did that, I think, because of his communication challenges. So he'd draw very complex drawings of various, characters, people, goings-on, and lots of detail, like all in story form.
Drawings which now cover the walls of their home and are carefully collected in a series of binders, from age 1 to present day. A process of creating these unique characters and storylines, which Robbie explains in more detail.
Usually I do the eyes, then I do the mouth, then I do the head, and then I look at a hairstyle that might fit the head, and because all the heads are different shaped. And then I do like body, and it depends on the facial expression of what the body should look like. Because if he's just regular and not happy or sad or mad, what I would usually do is draw him slouching if he was excited or mad.
And through his passion for drawing, a business opportunity has developed for this 8-year-old with a line of t-shirts, which all began one rainy afternoon when Robbie's mom came home with a craft to occupy his time.
Mom got these blank t-shirts and she got tie-dye. But instead of me using the tie-dye, I was drawing my regular drawings. And then my mom said, "This is great." And then one day I went to the Lyric Theater, and I said at the end of it, and I'm selling t-shirts at the back, and my mom didn't know that, and so Then she was like, "What?"
What started as a mere hobby and a few dozen t-shirts has now spiraled into cases. And the Saskatchewan Abilities Council screen printing the mass orders. And coinciding with the popularity of Robbie's t-shirts and his love for drawing and telling stories is the desire to give something back to those in need. As Robbie sees it, children helping children, with a portion of the t-shirt proceeds donated to the Salvation Army.
They feed people. They give boys and girls who don't have them in Saskatchewan food and toys and stuff. And that's why every year, Mom and I and Cash, what we do is we pick out some of the toys we're done with and we give them to the Salvation Army. Because some of the toys I don't play with at all, and then they're kind of just sitting around. And I think a little girl that doesn't have anything would sure appreciate it more than me. There was a dog named Smitty.
Robbie has also taken his love for drawing and telling stories to the youth group sessions at the Swift Current Salvation Army, sharing his art and encouraging others with their creations on paper. And as Robbie shares his stories and tries to bring a smile to another's face, this proud mom can't help but be inspired by her son's message.
Like for me, now I'm a grown-up, right? So I'm thinking of things in big, complicated programs and world problems and how are we going to solve this, and we need a think tank and we need the world's experts on it. But really, Robbie reminds me that it may not be that complicated. It really is about sharing happiness, and it can be the smallest seed of happiness that can change somebody's life.
And along with his desire to help other children is Robbie's hope to one day appear on the Ellen DeGeneres Show.
It's only one reason, because I want my t-shirts to be more popular. And maybe if the t-shirts get more popular, I can donate more to the Salvation Army.
Robbie McCartney, an inspiration to all ages, giving for good, one smile and one t-shirt at a time. Another exciting season of Market Square returns to downtown Swift Current, featuring live entertainment, fresh garden produce, crafts, and other unique vendors. Market Square, every Saturday at the corner of Central and Chaplin. Proudly presented by the City of Swift Current and Standard Motors, along with Innovation Credit Union and SWTV News. To many people, their job is just that, a job. But for Karen Clark, her work as a locksmith leads her on a path to helping people in unique situations. Karen Clark of Swift Current has been working as a locksmith for the past 27 years and has encountered a variety of requests from her customers, from general key cutting to helping someone who's been locked out of their home or camper trailer, a business which has her working in town or across the Southwest.
Well, I work for the police, I work for the sheriff, safe shelters. I do the banks, plus the businesses, plus residential, plus automotive. And it's a challenge to get into the locks, because, like some you can just walk up, boom, you're in. Next time, it'll cause you problems. You can sit there for a while trying to get it open,
Recently, Karen crossed paths with John Watt and Elaine Tanner, who were traveling across Canada and found themselves in a unique situation.
And I was shuffling some luggage in the back of the truck and dropped the keys in there, inadvertently, not aware, slammed the trunk, and realized with the security on the car that I was screwed, that I couldn't get the keys out of the trunk and to get the car moving. So I tried to find another way to do it. There's a release for the trunk in the car. There's a security key release. I didn't have that. I started to panic.
Following numerous telephone calls, the couple contacted GV Lock and Key, and the problem was quickly resolved.
Karen comes in and gets her little magic little keys out, the little security stuff, and releases the trunk within less than a minute, and just made our whole morning. And we were so elated with her, we took her out for coffee and started talking to her about her life, and she started to share some personal information. And I said, this is a story I think should be shared.
A simple act of kindness which made a world of difference to John and Elaine while restoring their outlook on mankind.
Kind of reached back to thinking, my gosh, there is humanity out here. There is kindness, and that's really what we need to remember, that, you know, just doing a simple thing, a simple act, even, you know, a smile or a helping hand, it is so special these days, and it's so easy to do.
Well, even though Karen's a commercial operation and it's part of her work, there was more of a personal side to her that she cared, and she gave me advice, and also Eileen followed up from Saskatchewan Automobile Association, was very concerned after the slow start. We did have a slow start initially, and she apologized for that and was on the ball, and genuine concern, real kindness and thoughtfulness.
However, for Karen Clark, helping others is a regular part of her daily routine, with each key she cuts or door she opens.
Well, whether it's a tourist or people that have in their own homes, I like to help people, get them through. If it's an emergency, I'll just lock up the shop quick, go there quick.
A random act of kindness which brought these strangers together through a unique circumstance and left this BC couple with a better appreciation of a sense of community in rural Saskatchewan. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at mylocaltv.ca. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.